What's going on, everybody? It's another week of Aaron and Todd's. Sorry, Aaron and Riverman. He doesn't want to be doxxed. I actually had Real Todd on there, and I'm like, oh shit, he doesn't want to be called Todd. And I couldn't fit Riverman because it cut off. I'm like, well, shit, Real River. But it's another Aaron and Riverman, our flashback nostalgia chats. This week, it was per request, I believe. I don't recall who requested it, but we are going to be talking later on about our favorite Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes. I did a top 5. I did you do 5 as well?
See, I did. I got I had to rewatch some of these, so it was hard to figure out which one was my favorite growing up.
Uh-huh.
So I have like a top 5 of like my most memorable ones from when I was a kid,
I mean,
and
that's fine. What
I have one that's my favorite probably out of all of them.
okay. So you actually rewatched some. I've watched them fairly recently, so I didn't actually get around to rewatching them for this, but I watched them just in the past year, to be honest with you. And I remember all the classics really well. Like I watched that stuff so much. So it's pretty much ingrained. So how many did you watch recently?
1, 2, 3, 4,
Did you
7.
go back? Were you going back and watching the ones that you remember loving?
Yeah. So basically, I got Paramount
Don't-
Plus for like $5.
Oh, are
Yeah,
those on
because
there? I didn't even think about
yeah,
that.
they're all on Paramount Plus.
Cool.
So I've this week I've been watching, basically ones that I think I remember by the
Uh-huh.
title and the description, and then go back and like everyone that I did that I remembered it. But it's just the
Yeah.
fact that you haven't seen it in so damn long. So
Yeah. So no spoilers. We'll get to it later, but all of mine are the order really doesn't matter except for my number one. That's always been my favorite. And if we happen to have repeats, oh well. The thing is about that show is it was easy and hard. It wasn't that hard to make a top list, but at the same time, it was because I really like a lot of the episodes in the first
oh
two,
yeah.
the first two seasons. Some of the third is flawless. So it's like I honestly anything out of those seasons can be an honorable mention. And we'll talk about all of it, so it doesn't even matter. But at first we're just gonna sit there and shoot the breeze, catch up, talk about anything new that's going on in our lives. I don't know if Riverman's got any new acquisitions for the week to show, or if anything's new. What's going on?
Yeah, I got a few acquisitions, but
All
yeah,
right.
the Super Bowl week, so I was pretty happy the Chiefs won, and that was pretty stressful, but glad they got
Yeah.
it done. So
I
that
was
was
just I was keeping track of the updates. I wasn't watching it, but I was keeping track of the updates just because I wanted to know what Todd was feeling. That's basically it. And I saw it was just neck and neck down to the wire. And then I mean that was just what I would think is pretty much a coin toss game. If it was flipped
yeah,
the other way, man, the other team would have had it because they basically won it
yeah.
with a field goal. They killed the clock and then ran the last play and just classic. So yeah, it could have easily went. It could have easily been the other game too, the other team.
Yeah, I was sweating bullets. Let's just say that.
But it seemed like it was a pretty good game for it. You won a Super
Yeah,
Bowl like that, right? I mean,
I don't,
honestly,
but yeah,
no. Maybe if it's your team, you would like for
yeah,
some reason
yeah.
to be a fucking just slaughterhouse. But if it wasn't your two teams playing the Super Bowl, this is the kind of game you like,
That's true.
right? So, what were you like seriously while watching this game? Were you pacing? What were you doing? How do you act? How was your wife?
Um, yeah. So I was watching it. We went over to my nephews because they were having like a birthday party during it, and of course I
Uh-huh.
wasn't going to stay and watch it there with all of them. So my wife, the kids, and I came back home, and basically when we were in separate rooms, the Chiefs would score. So I ended up watching it downstairs and upstairs, and we like alternated where we watched it because if we were in the same room, they weren't doing very well. And I was I'm pretty superstitious
Really?
when it
You were
comes to
being
sports. Yeah.
superstitious?
Yes. Yes.
What does your wife think about that? What does she
Uh,
like think of? Like,
sh
Todd, you're stupid.
no, no, she does the same thing.
She's very
So,
supportive.
yes.
I think you're full of shit though, man. That's
I
so
swear to
stupid.
God. It's
But that's no,
stupid, I
I don't
know.
think you're full of shit. I think your belief of that is full of shit. That's
It
stupid.
is, but
It's so
yeah,
dumb.
it's
That's
dumb.
like that's like fucking spectrum autism shit. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's a sports thing. It's a sports
Well,
thing.
and if like, let's just say like I wear a jersey,
Uh-huh.
Travis Kelsey jersey, and I haven't watched it all year because, um, if they end up doing well or some of these games, I'm so tempted to watch it, but I try not to watch it all year if they win the Super Bowl. So I'm probably not going to watch it until they lose their first game next year, or else they lose in the playoffs.
Well, that's not really that much of a flex though, because I'm sure you wear something underneath it, right? It's not really going to stink that much.
Yeah. I wore an undershirt.
So what were you fucking pacing though? Like in that last quarter, then I was texting you. I was like texting you, oh man, I bet you're in heat. Things are not looking very good. And you just had your phone off. Were you not like paying attention to that shit? Were you focused?
Maybe I'll throw the video on the Patreon, but my wife took a video at the end of the game. So, and we're all going pretty nuts. Yeah. So
worse than the first time they won a couple years back. I saw the video.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But yeah, we were pretty, and the kids were awake, so we couldn't get them to sleep. So yeah, and I was pretty hammered. I was probably like 10, 12 beers deep at that point because I was so nervous. But yeah, it was an exciting night. I took the next day off. So
yeah, you were prepared to either be depressed and sleep in or celebrate.
Yeah. So I stayed up until probably like 2:30 in the morning, and then it was a good night, good weekend.
Well, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for everybody else back home that it really means something to. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to me, but for the sake of everybody else, I was like, sure. I hope everybody is happy. It was cool though. When I watched, because the lady made me watch the Rihanna thing on YouTube.
Yeah,
she's like, I want to watch the halftime show, and the halftime show is bullshit. It's always bullshit. And
I did. Boring, dude.
I watched it, and it's like, what? It's another hip hop R&B artist that's lip syncing. And then of course she's pregnant, so she's barely really moving herself. Dude, she wasn't really doing it. Was funny. She had like a million dancers on stage to compensate because she's not moving much. She's pregnant. And then she's lip syncing to boot. I'm like, is she really doing anything? This is like, because you could argue, they danced though. Like she wasn't doing anything really.
It was a lot different. Like, years and years ago when they would have like, Prince was pretty good, and when he was on,
Paul McCartney,
they would have if they would have Michael Jackson or something, that'd be awesome. But majority of these people, nobody cares about them.
Rihanna I saw an interview today where I guess she boycotted doing the Super Bowl some years back to stand in solidarity with Colin, right? The knee thing.
Oh yeah.
And then and she went on this whole fucking Kaepernick, whatever. She went on this whole fucking soapbox thing about the same thing, whatever. Like we're not appreciated, yada yada yada. Anyway, they asked her in a new interview, so why'd you do it now? What changed your mind in a few years? And she was like, well, we're making strides, and basically I don't know. It was like such an oppressed type of talk. Like basically, no one appreciates like our music. The urban areas are not represented. But now that we had a couple years where with Dr. Dre and stuff like that, 2 years in a row, I'm like, why are we talking like hip hop is oppressed? It's like the number one genre. In fact,
oh god, yeah.
In fact, Jay-Z's now the producer of the halftime show. You're never going to see a rock band ever again. It's always it's going to be nothing but hip hop and Rihanna's whatever. And I'm like, to me, it's what is the word? It's just ignorance, because like there's nothing oppressed about Rihanna. And dude, what do we talk? If anything, the bands that should be playing the Super Bowl, the ones that play the music in the fucking stadiums during the season, they're never going to get to play the Super Bowl again. They're never going to have opportunities to play the Super Bowl, and they haven't in a long time. Like, to me, that's oppressed. I mean, Guns N' Roses should play the Super Bowl, right?
Oh,
when they reunited, they should have played the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. Metallica,
Def Leppard.
Metallica should have played the Super Bowl already. Def Leppard's, I think their time has passed on. But
come on, they're arena rock, dude. I mean, come on, people like that. But people want to sing along to that stuff. Yeah,
their time's passed. But I could honestly see Journey. But regardless, they'll never do it again. So I don't want to hear about Rihanna being oppressed and the music and stuff like that doesn't get respect. Like, what are you talking about? They got Jay-Z fucking producing it, man. You'll never
for the
see
2000s and the aughts. Hip hop is all there is. I mean, rock music's dead in the mainstream. Everything's dead except hip hop. So I don't know what she's talking about.
It's dead, but like they don't even want those old timers on there anymore. They don't even want like the Paul McCartneys. They don't want these guys are alive. The Who, I mean, are still kind of alive. Some of them, Rolling
Yeah.
Stones, they're still like you could still have, but that era's done too. They don't want that. It is what it is. I mean, you're not going to have any new rock bands. It's either going to be legacy bands or big, already established bands, or just hip hop. I enjoyed the last one. The last year's was kind of fun with all those, Dre and Snoop and Eminem.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
That was
Yeah.
really fun. This one
Mhm.
was like nothing like that. I thought this was boring.
Yeah, and I don't
And,
mind her music, but I mean, she's just so boring. Who cares? You know.
I'm clueless. Like I never even heard all those songs she was singing. Like, what's that song she stop?
Diamonds in the Sky was so
I never
that was
heard that.
popular.
Never
Really?
heard it.
Wow.
Never heard it. But most of them I did, I guess. And then what else? Oh, but when I was watching that halftime show and they were showing the external shots of the stadium and all the fireworks going off, it kind of made me wish I could have been driving by just to like see that. Like, oh, because when I'm driving down the I-10 or that area, I pass it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I drive past. It would have been kind of cool to be like, holy shit, and hear like the show go on and see all those fireworks because they were crazy. But I'm sure traffic was insane. I probably didn't want to be over there. But it's
I
pretty cool.
just-
What's
you-
up, Oliver?
I want them to do more holograms and have like a TLC reunion at halftime, and they could have like Left Eye as a hologram, dude.
Why? But like, why isn't ACDC doing the halftime show? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
God, we live in an era where even U2 won't do they can't do that anymore. Because there was a point where U2 was like trying to be up in every hip hopper's guts. They were trying to be relevant, and they were kind of succeeding. It's like they were doing duets with Mary J. Blige, and I wouldn't have been. They were just short of showing up at the BET Awards because U2 is not really. It's weird. I don't really think they're a rock band. I don't know what they are.
No,
they're kind of like they were in the 80s, but even them, like their time has just kind of passed. And I think they're done now too. So
Van Halen would be cool too.
But Van Halen's way past. You know who saw to it that Van Halen's career and legacy is dead? Van Halen.
Yeah, that's true.
I've never seen another band like sabotage their own legacy before.
Yeah.
Van Halen, they never toured Europe. They never toured. They never really bothered going on big tours in Europe or trying to grow their audience outside of America because they were lazy. It's like, we're so big here, we just want to party here. And so they're not really they're huge here, but around the world they're not a humongous deal. And like I said, they just lie dormant for fucking decades. And no one gives a shit about Van Halen anymore. Like they're the epitome of like just classic rock. Unfortunately, it sucks. What's up this Inhuman Place? Where's Zach though? Zach's not on these shows, man, on Tuesday. These are just Todd and myself. Zach's probably jerking off right now, doing something with school. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. It sucks. But when AC/DC announces their next tour finally, which will probably be their last, they're going to be filling the same stadiums at these Metallica's already got their stadium tour booked. It's just these bands, but that's not who they don't want them. That like they're not for the people that watch football. They put on the Rihanna stuff for everybody else, right? This is for your girlfriends and stuff that watch the game and stuff like that. Like I read that like 20 million more people tuned in just for the halftime show than the actual game.
Yeah.
So it's just a spectacle of it, I guess. I don't know.
It would be kind of smart. So why didn't they get Metallica the halftime show? Because they'd be promoting their new album too. I mean, I think that would be pretty.
I have to say it again? Jay-Z is the guy that's doing it. Jay-Z is the producer of the halftime show.
Oh God.
Jay-Z.
So what do we got next? Alicia Keys and
it's forever. It's forever going to be a certain type of music now. It's just the way it is. It's Jay-Z, man. Jay-Z's not going to sit there and be like, hey, Mick Jagger, you want to come out here? Or Metallica? Yeah. But at the same time, they have this policy, especially now, where they have to lip sync. Like they won't let you not lip sync.
Really?
Yeah. It's just Rihanna and all these people were lip syncing anyway by choice on a normal occasion, but they won't let anybody not lip sync at this because there's just too much at stake. It's streaming out to so many people around the world. I guess they don't want to risk a fuck up. They don't want to risk any kind of glitch. They don't want to risk anything. So even when you see like the bands play on the stage, they're not even plugged in. Like they're not even really trying to hide it. The bands aren't plugged in. It's just a fucking mime fest. It's
So
just
is the lip sync pre-recorded at the stadium before, like days before the game, or is it just like a track that's? I mean, how does that work?
so their mic can work. Like for example, like it's the Rihanna song. No, like sometimes there'll be bands that record their tracks for a tour, like in the studio to where it sounds live. But most of these
Mhm.
people, they don't. They're just playing the fucking CD, man. They're not even
Okay.
trying. And so, but
Okay.
their mic is still on. Like Rihanna will be lip syncing, and then she can go, "What's up, Phoenix?" And she's talking. She could still talk in there, and she could fill in those little ad libs, right?
Mm.
But
Mhm.
it's bullshit. The fact that it passes it as entertainment is weird to me. But people know it's like not even like a thing anymore. Everybody's cool with it. It's just like, yeah, I just want to watch. I just want to look at the celebrity, which is kind of weird to me.
Mm.
But anyway, I don't think Metallica would do it. I mean, like, I don't think they would ever like not plug in their guitars and fucking mime. I just don't. They're too dinosaurs for
What are you
that, which I
yanking
like.
me? What are you yanking me?
That's funny, dude. Yeah. If it's in English, it's a gold
Little
record at least.
airheads.
Yeah, exactly. It's a gold record at least. That needs a 4K. Hey, really quick. So we're done with the Super Bowl.
Oh
I
god,
don't.
yeah.
What else? Oh, good news. Hopefully I don't have any issues. I had some issues last couple weeks, but as of today, I finally got new internet coming Saturday. We have a new game in town. I was telling Todd
Oh,
about it.
nice.
Fiber, oh, dude. I no longer have to be under the claws of the Cox Mafia because like
Yes.
that's the only people that were servicing it. It is. It's all like lobbyist bullshit. I hate the way the cable companies are territorial, and now we live in a society where we have to have internet. We have to have
Yeah.
internet. I work with internet. My job is at home. It's just part of our culture and our life now. And the fact that a company like Cox or whoever you have, they can charge you whatever. And if there's no other game in town, or you have to pay it. I was paying 500 up, 500 down. Cox,
Yeah.
$170 a month. They
Yeah, mine's
charge
like 90.
$100. They charge $100 for just the speed, another 50 for the data, 15 for the hardware, and taxes.
Jesus.
I was paying $170. So I got this newer, smaller fish company that their fiber. I don't know if there's like something about them that makes them different enough to where they can impede on Cox's turf. I don't know if it's because it's fiber. I don't really know. But anyway, all their shit is baked in. There's no extra fees for anything. There's no data charges, data caps, and all the taxes are baked in. And I'm gonna pay for double 1,000 up, 1,000 down for fucking $75 less,
Nice.
$95. And if I
What
want
kind of
2
contract?
gigs,
Is that a 1 or 2
no
year, or how does
contract.
that
There's
work?
no contracts.
Wow, okay.
No contracts, no fees for anything. And if I want 2 gigs, it's still $20 cheaper than I was paying at fucking Cox. It'd be 150 flat. So it's like,
Jeez.
yeah, I'm just so happy I'm just free of that shit. But so that's new with me. And then I don't know.
That was your
Well,
Valentine's Day. What'd you do?
what did I do? We just chilled. We didn't want to go out. We got takeout from somewhere, one of our favorite restaurants, and kind of had dinner at home and just watched movies and just hung out. Wasn't anything crazy. Nothing. What about you?
Nothing. I watched a movie. My wife and I really don't celebrate it, so it was a normal night. We might be doing dinner tomorrow night if it snowed like 10 inches here today, so I don't know if we'll make it out tomorrow, but
Yeah.
uh yeah, but no, we didn't really do anything.
You been playing anything lately, game wise?
Yeah, I've been playing that Callisto Protocol because I got it on sale. I didn't get
Yeah,
Dead Space yet.
I've heard that's just very mid. Everybody's saying like how like it
It's
is.
fun. I enjoy it. I
Mhm.
mean, but yeah, I'll play Dead Space eventually. Then I'll play Resident Evil eventually. So
Well,
I'm just
ever
trying to make
since
it through. I'm about halfway through this.
yeah, you gotta get all that in before Resident Evil comes out. Ever since
Yeah.
they sort of shadow dropped Nintendo Online, the Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy games last week. I've been playing nothing but, believe it or not, the OG Game Boy Tetris. It's
Oh,
addictive,
really?
dude. Like even the original, just on the Game Boy and the NES. I play the Game Boy one. I get sucked into it. I'll be laying in bed and I'll be going to bed at 3 in the morning, just playing fucking
Mm.
Tetris. And then I've been playing Legend of Zelda Minish Cap on the Game Boy Advance. I've been having a blast playing that. So it actually made me put down Dead Space. So I haven't went back to Dead Space because I'm playing these old ass fucking Game Boy games, dude. But I love it. I don't give a shit. You want to go over some stuff? Like, what have you gotten? I've only got one thing. I mean, I'll just knock them out real quick if you want to see it.
Yeah, I got a few things.
I'll just knock it out. Well, technically I have this, but I'm returning it. Right. I was talking about Vinegar Syndrome. I got to get
Mhm.
I reordered it from Vinegar Syndrome. I got to return this because I didn't get the slip. And the only thing that sucks about Vinegar Syndrome is they still haven't even shipped my order or processed my order, and it's been like 5 days.
It'll take a while because they're coming off their Valentine's Day sale.
Like, how long should it take? It says that well, then I looked on the website and it says they most in stock orders they fulfill within 2 to 8 business days, I think it said.
Hmm. Sometimes it takes longer, but
But
yeah,
anyway, so
I mean,
hey, this Inhuman Place. No, we're about to talk about it here in just a sec, bro. So we're just kind of shooting the shit for a second. And then the only thing else I got was these Last Action Hero steel books came back in stock that were out of print, and I bought one
I I
because it
I ordered that too.
the same one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
from
So
Amazon. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to watching that. I was gonna watch it last night. I might watch it tonight if she's not asleep because this is the kind of movie I'm going to save to watch with her. Like
Mm.
she's not going to watch Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. She's not going to watch all this other stuff. But this one she will. What's up, Mendoza? How you doing, man? All right, so Riverman's going to knock out his new things that he got real quick, and then we're going to get into Are You Afraid of the Dark, our top episodes, and I'm excited to talk about it, man. Talk about a show that lives up, man, to this day.
So I just got a few things off of Arrow sale.
Okay.
I have never seen this, but I've been wanting to see it. It's Vamp. Have you seen Vamp? It's a 80s vampire movie. I don't know, 80s, 90s, 96. Yeah, so I don't know. I heard good things about it though. We don't get enough vampire movies. My next
Let me know
one
if it's
is
better than Near Dark, the greatest.
see. I still think Lost Boys is. I'm
I
not a
think
huge. I like Near Dark, but I like Lost Boys better.
I love Lost Boys, but I don't know. They're very different movies. I think Lost Boys is very Tiger Beat magazine, if that makes sense. It
It
just
is.
feels like, yeah, it just feels like you would have had pictures of Alex Winter and Corey Haim and stuff from that movie as centerfolds in Tiger Beat. It just seems a little bit more mainstream.
It's a mainstream horror. Yeah, it's like
Not that
some of your
Near
parents would
Dark
like
isn't.
too.
I mean, but not that Near Dark isn't. There's just something about it. I love it. But go ahead, continue.
Next one, I didn't own this, but I do really like this movie, Cruising.
Oh yeah, Cruising's
So,
great. I've almost bought that a few times. I just feel like that's gonna get a 4K. I'm gonna hold off.
I really don't. I can't do. There's too many movies. I can't be upgrading them all.
Well, I don't have it though.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
But did you not have? That's what I'm saying. Like, did you
No,
not
I
have
did.
that
I
before?
didn't have it, but I mean, I'd rather get it for cheaper anyway. I mean, a lot of
Eh,
these, like, I'll upgrade my. Really, it's like sought after, like directors and stuff, but the majority of them I don't really care. But
you want that fucking Cruising in UHD. You want to see those
no,
club scenes. I didn't know, but a lot of those club scenes they were shot guerrilla style, basically, where like they just went in and filmed them. Right?
yeah,
It wasn't extras or nothing like that. It was just, hey, their natural habitat. So I don't really know how that worked, but
yeah. I'm looking forward to checking it out again. I mean, I watched it probably 2 years ago from now, but yeah, I don't know. Like, did you upgrade any of the Criterion stuff? It's like some of these high boutique labels. It's like I'm not really looking to upgrade anything from.
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I know there was a couple that I got, and immediately after I got them, they started they started unleashing the Criterion 4Ks, and like for example, it kind of sucks. I bought the Mulholland Drive, and then it got announced on 4K, and that bummed me out because I like the California Hollywood trilogy that he has there,
Mhm.
and I was kind of bummed. So it's like I don't really know if it's really much better, but I couldn't bring myself. Maybe down the road, I don't know. I think I got Lost Highway though on 4K.
Mhm.
Luckily, I don't know if I had to rebuy any. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like, when it comes to that stuff, like Scream Factory, some of that stuff I don't mind rebuying because their packaging stinks, Scream Factories.
But yeah, the
And
Criterion stuff, the Blu-rays and the 4Ks look fucking identical. I think
yeah,
there's like no
yeah, I agree.
so.
Um, I don't know. It's all preference, whoever. But,
But
the other one
speaking of rebuying stuff, I mean, like I said, I already own this. Dude, I've got a VHS of this. I've had this on DVD. I have the Blu-ray Shout box set of 1, 2, and 3 over there, which is fine. But
I
for some
never
reason
I never saw those
yeah, but
Blu-rays.
for some reason I still I don't need this. I love this movie though. And I
Dude,
don't know what the transfer looks like.
it looks amazing, dude.
Is it
It's
I don't
worth it's worth
is it going to
getting
be
just for
better
the
than the
transfer.
Blu-ray? I don't know. I mean
See,
because you don't
I never saw the Blu-ray, but the transfer looks awesome, dude.
but I just love this. I mean, you could argue that how great can a fucking disgusting gritty movie like Henry look like? But we have that on 4K too, and we've had that. I've got
Well, I'm sure it
Henry
doesn't
on
look
DVD.
great, but
I've got it
yeah.
on DVD and Blu-ray, but I have it again. And then what? Trying to think. Oh, I told you I rebought Life Force last week. You saw that because
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know, man. I just got envious. I already own it, but I'm like, fuck it. And it was a good price. They had some other shit that was really priced really low. And they had some kind
Mhm.
of sale going on, and it was really tempting. But I had to stop myself. Like for example, like I could have got the 4K of The Craft, but I'm like, I don't like The Craft that much.
No, I know, I don't either. I never
But
got
it was
that.
so cheap. Did you
Yeah.
it was like fucking $12. It was like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
but I'm like, I have to stop myself. Like, I don't love The
Mhm,
Craft. I mean, it's all right, but
mhm.
I don't love The Craft. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Like, there I got 2 more. Mutilator, which I never had this on any format, so
yeah,
it was
I have that.
cheap, so and then the last one I got, which I watched last night, pretty fun movie, man. Slugs.
Yeah, I never seen it. It's a cool cover though.
It's
Looks like
yeah,
Cannibal Corpse, dude.
it's actually really cool, creature feature type movie. It's really gory too, so,
Yeah,
um
Mendoza, he's talked about Life Force and the space titties. I guess River said he had never seen it before,
I've
but
never seen it. I still haven't watched it.
I always forget about it when talking about Toby Hooper, which is kind of a shame because it's such a unique movie. I wouldn't necessarily peg it for being Tony Hooper, but I don't know if Tony Hooper had much of a style. Like
Toby?
you know what I mean? Like his standout movies are all so different.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But because to me, Life Force does not feel like Texas.
Texas Chain,
It
yeah,
doesn't feel like
yeah,
Poltergeist. It's
yeah.
really its own thing, and yeah, great cast, and like you said, Mathilda May and her space titties, space vampire. Yeah, you should watch it. And let me know what you think.
Yeah,
I hope it
I
looks
did get
great.
that.
I hope the 4K looks fantastic because it's one of those movies that you know will look really good if space titties exactly. Hips or lips? That's absolutely right, Adrian. All right. So what's your last one?
That was it.
Oh, that was
I
it.
just have
Oh,
4. Yeah, yeah.
awesome. So let's see. We are going to go ahead. I don't have anything else. We're going to want to roll into it. So Mendoza, unless you're late to the party. We're talking about Are You Afraid of the Dark, man. I don't know how old everybody is in the chat, but I have to say the show ages incredibly well. And I think at least for kids of the 90s and our generation, your older millennials. Todd and I are at this weird age, by the way. It's weird to think that I'm a millennial, but I almost feel like we're in this weird little space in between Gen X and a millennial because I don't feel like a
Yeah,
millennial because
yeah,
I have one foot in the internet era and then one foot out of it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yep.
I grew up with no internet, and internet
Mhm.
didn't become kind of a thing until the mid
High
90s.
school.
And even then I didn't have internet for the first time until
Yeah,
2003.
yeah.
So it feels weird. I feel like we're our own little weird mid generation.
It's crazy to think about not having the internet, man.
Yeah, I know. What a fucking peace and loving world.
It was pretty peaceful and pretty fun.
But you couldn't go back to it. I mean, like we would
No.
be I don't know. We're just too I think everybody kind of suffers from attention deficit disorder these days, and it's a product of the phone. Think about it. It's like when you're watching a football game, I can't relate to this, but when you're watching a football game, I imagine whenever it's a commercial or even during the game, maybe it's a boring part, you have to look at your phone.
I'm on Twitter. Yeah.
You got to get on your
Swiping through
phone.
Twitter.
You
Yeah.
can't not do it. And dude, you know what the worst is? I bet you've done it too. If you're playing like a story-driven game where there's like cutscenes, I don't want to fucking watch that shit. I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah. No, I
It's so weird. But back in the day, I used to watch the cutscenes and be like into it. But this thing it's killed us.
Well,
But
that's how I rate my movies nowadays. If I want to like search something on my phone real quick, I'll knock it down a star. I'm just like, if it doesn't have my attention 100% the movie, it's definitely a trigger for me to
I think it's
move it
it's
down.
got to be an amazing product for no one to look at their phone even once. Because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's
Yeah.
it's just not realistic. I think we're ruined. But anyway, it's a new era. So we're going to talk about the show. I think for 90s kids like us, it was a huge launch pad into the world of horror. And also, even though I was watching shows like Tales from the Dark Side and Tales from the Crypt and stuff like that, at the same time, I don't know if I would. There's got to be a lot of kids out there that this was their first introduction into stuff like that, right? The whole anthology horror.
Well, and back in the day, like they actually had age restrictions on how old you have to be to rent a movie. So a lot of the time we couldn't even rent these movies. So we had to resort to the television. So
But I'll tell you what,
anything horror related, we're jumping on.
as far as like preteen horror though goes, these stories are good.
Yeah.
And you know, this was on the Snick lineup. So it was kind of Snick was Nickelodeon's answer to MTV, right? Like MTV's got Beavis and Butthead, and they're kind of getting that teen demographic that we don't have with Nickelodeon. And so they introduced Snick, and then you had like Ren and Stimpy, and you had shows like this, and I don't know, there's something about it. It's aged super well, and I can still watch them today. And they're not equal in the sense of it was a Canadian production, but so it was very inconsistent in the sense that some of the episodes have terrible acting.
Oh,
Terrible. But some
Mhm.
of them are fantastic. Like
Mhm.
I and obviously in their peak they had guest stars, right? You had Nev Campbell of Party of Five fame at the time. You had Bobcat Goldthwait. I'm the Sandman, right? He was in that episode.
Yeah.
And you had like Tia and Samara Mowry.
Clarissa.
And then
Yeah.
and in a later episode in like season 3, you had Bobby Budnick himself, but he was also like an in-house. So was Clarissa. They were network players. But
Yeah.
still, really, really cool stuff. And I was telling Todd at the start of this was kind of easy to put together a list, but also kind of hard in the sense that anything that didn't make my list that was in the first 2.5 seasons, they're all honorable mentions because it really was solid. But anyway, we'll get into it.
Even the bad ones were entertaining. I mean, they're memorable. Even the bad ones, I think.
There's tons I could talk about that are so. The only one that I think is in any real particular order is going to be my number one. So we're going to count down and get to our number one. And that's the only one. The rest of these you could kind of like put wherever you want. But do you want to start? And if you have one that's on mine and vice versa, we'll just go ahead and knock it out at the same time. But I'll let you start.
Okay. So my list is a little different. I have one I really liked. I don't even know if I really like it now, but as a kid I did.
I'll let you know if it holds up. I know.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely let me know. But some of these, like, I go back and watch, and like I'm watching through nostalgia eyes, where I'm just like, I don't know what to think about this crap. But the first one I did enjoy was let's kick it off in the original, the Tale of the Phantom Cab, which was a pretty solid first entry into it, where they're basically lost in the woods. They come across Dr. Fink's cabin or whatever. And
no, it's Dr. Vink with the v.
Oh, Dr.
He would have
Dr.
fucking
Vink.
scolded you.
And then they have to solve some riddle to basically
a hole in the barrel. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that was very memorable to me because, of course, the who's the other guy, the random guy that ends up being a dead guy.
Oh yeah, the cab driver, where he's like,
the cab driver.
He's like, By the way, the first episode was one of those episodes where it has shit acting.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
ooh, he took your hand, and he shows like obviously
Mhm.
like one of those sleeves where his hand's tucked in. And
yeah.
I like at the end, he's like, I sort of died, and his head twists around like Linda
That
Blair.
was scared the shit out of me, dude, when I was a kid, dude. Or his head
and and
twisted.
and and Dr. Vink's fucking Hagrid hut that he lived in the middle of the woods, his little
Mhm.
Blair Witch hut. He had the jar with the hand, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah, that one didn't make my list, but it's a classic because it is the first episode. And like a lot of them, that one is very. Some of them get a little bit more intricate, but that one's very Campfire Tale, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one's just
Mhm.
super simple. It feels like something like I don't want to like spat off episode like the tale of the Crimson Clown, right? I like that episode, but that doesn't seem like the kind of thing you tell in front of a campfire,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Uh, but that one's very, very campfire material, so I like it. Yeah, it's not on my list because there's just stiff competition.
And
But
these aren't the ones that I love the most. They're the most memorable to me. So,
I remember going to school the following Monday that episode aired, that first episode,
yeah.
and we were in gym class. And you remember in elementary school where we'd have that like unit where you do like the big parachute you'd sit under?
Mhm.
Why we did
Yeah.
that? Like, what does that have to do with fitness, by the way? I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea. And then we'd be inside the parachute, right? In a circle,
Mhm.
holding it down.
Cutting
And
farts.
then
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that too. And then the gym teacher would be like, all right, so let's tell anybody have any jokes or riddles? And then some girl, she literally thought she's being so clever. She did the fucking barrel riddle. And I was like, yeah, I
Oh,
saw
she
it too.
did.
Yeah. I was like, hole in the barrel. Yeah, I saw the episode too.
Oh, man.
um, but anyway, fun stuff. I always think about that. Anyway, so let me go into my episode, but that's a great one though. And let us know if you guys have any suggestions of episodes you liked. I was trying to stray a little bit outside of there's some episodes that are bona fide classics, right? Like to me, I don't know, just the greatest hits. I, I don't think I have many of those on here. I tried to be a little bit creative, but so my first one is the Tale of the Bookish Babysitter. You remember that one?
What season is that? Let me look that
I
up.
I don't even fucking remember. It's not the first one. It might be season 3. All these are the first couple few, 1 through 3. It's the one with
Tale of the
the fat ginger kid. And he's kind of like a 12.
Oh,
He looks
okay, okay. That's season 3. Yeah,
okay,
episode
yeah.
10.
So
Okay.
he's the fat ginger kid. He looks like he's about 11 or 12. He's kind of older. And his parents go out for the night and they hire a babysitter. And it's this like
Oh,
hair looking sorry. uh, she's coming, and then she's like all kind of hipsy new age, and she comes in,
yep.
and he's kind of rambunctious, and he doesn't want a babysitter. That's for babies, and she introduces him to a bunch of books, and then when he's reading these books, all of a sudden the stories come to life, and it's just cool, right? And remember, he's like, and then he pulls out his Uzi, yeah, his Uzi. The kids, I just like it with like the witch and all that stuff. You remember the episode really
Yeah.
well?
Not really well, but I do remember a little bit of the episode.
He's basically telling like this weird, like almost like a Green Knight type of story. He's got to slay the evil witch. There's a king, restore the crown to the king, and he's got to get like his Excalibur. And anyway, it's just a great fun episode. I liked it because I don't know. I never really had a babysitter. I imagine that's what's the kind of babysitter you'd want, man. Your parents are gone. You go on an adventure. I don't know. Get your dick sucked. I don't know. Whatever.
I am going to add that to my oh jeez.
I don't know. No, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm gonna add that one to my list so I watch that one. Because I might have been watching all of these actually, but
It's fantastic. And there's no backstory. Like, and then it turns out it's a story, and then she leaves, and the parents come home, and they're like friends, and they of course keep it between them, wink, wink. And I'm like, where does this chick come from? Like, why does she have these weird haunted books? Was any of it real, or was he really just getting his imagination tapped into? I don't know.
mhm.
But anyway, good stuff. I really like it. Watch it. And I didn't realize this shit was on Paramount Plus, so this is available for a lot of people that now, which is great because I had them most of them bought on Vudu. But what's your next one?
So this one really scared me when I was a kid. I don't know why. Going back watching it again, it's kind of lame, but it scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. and it is the same season, I believe, as yours. It's season 3. It's The Tale of Apartment 214. That's the
Oh
one
yeah.
with the old geezer lady that lived next door to him in the apartment that died, but she comes back
Mhm.
as a ghost, and she's pretty much tricking this girl into hanging out with her because she's lonely and that sort of thing. And yeah, the main girl ends up blowing her off one day, and like this old granny that's supposed to be a ghost like freaks out on her for setting her up, and it's I don't know, just something about that. Probably because I lived in an apartment at the time, and I
What
was
was it
like,
called? The Tale of what again? I'm just gonna look at the
The
actors in
Tale
it.
of Apartment 214.
Let me see real quick.
Should be season 3, episode 7.
All right, let's see
So
here.
these might be deep cuts for people, but these
Yeah,
are the ones
so
I remember the most.
yeah, this one I don't remember at all because I'll be honest with you, this show fell off. That's why I say 2.5 seasons because I remember not really being into the third season when I was growing up, and like for example, it started falling off. Even that episode with Danny Cooksky, the mummy episode in the museum, it's not very
Yeah.
good. It started showing its frayed edges and stuff like that, and I don't remember it. I don't really remember that episode, and I don't think that's available on Vudu, by the way, because on Vudu they released them in volumes. So it's got every episode that I could want, but it's missing a couple. So I don't think that's on there. So I'll have to watch it. But if you say it's good,
Well, it was good. I'm saying it's okay now, but it was one that scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
oh yeah, Mendoza, that's Todd's number one. Don't spoil it. He's like, do you guys remember the episode "The Tale of the Haunted Glory Hole"?
I always did that with my brother.
The glory hole? Oh.
No, the submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call the story "The Tale of the Masturbating Goat" or something like that. Some stupid like that. We come up with some random titles.
You and your brother were stupid. No, I'm just kidding. I think a lot of kids did that, man. It might have been one of the inspirations why me and my brother started a little radio show on my little tape recorder. I hosted a radio show, and we would do a segment, and we'd do like fake ads and stuff, and I'd tell stories. And I remember there was a storyteller segment, and I wrote this story when I was a kid called "The Tale of the Haunted Stinky Cheese Foot." It was a severed foot that was like possessed, kind of like Idle Hands before Idle Hands, and he reeked of cheese because he was rotting so bad. And I remember in my first tale of the Stinky Cheese Foot, he found his way in the White House, and he was in Bill Clinton's fridge. There's a whole story behind it. I even did like the impressions of like Bill and Hillary Clinton as like a little kid. It's dude, I would kill to have like these recordings still on these tapes. I used to tape all that stuff in my Talkboy back in the day. But anyway, so my next choice is a Stone Cold classic. It is The Tale of the 13th Floor. You remember it? It had to have been like probably the first season. It's an OG episode. And I
That's
love
season 2,
Is
episode
it
8.
season 2? I
Yeah.
love this episode because it's just a great story. Some of these had really fantastic stories that could have easily been a feature film if they wanted to extract it and write them that way. And obviously, M. Night Shyamalan famously, he took an episode, right? The one with the prom date and all that shit. He took that and turned it into The Sixth Sense, basically, with the whole guy didn't know he was dead and all that, blah, 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 blah. But this is
Yeah.
another one. It's a story about a brother and sister. The sister's adopted, and she starts seeing visions in the TV, like this woman's contacting her, and she thinks it's like dreams or whatever. And then they end up contacting her, and they're in the 13th floor of this apartment building they live in, and they're like under the guise of trying to build a toy factory. So they kind of get her up there and invite her to come up and check it out. And she goes up there, and they got all a bunch of weird gadgets and gizmos. And there's these 3 really fucking weird people. One of them's a robot, and he looks like a fucking bootleg Tim Curry. And there's a woman that looks like Flo, the guy, the progressive lady. And basically, the whole story is they're trying to get her back because they're aliens from another planet. And the whole twist is, right, that they left her. They were there 10 years before, and they left her behind. And because she wasn't no longer in her atmosphere, she developed human characteristics or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they wanted to introduce her into their atmosphere because they needed 10 years to develop enough of their atmosphere in the 13th floor. So she was spending all this time and getting exposed to it. And she ended up bringing her brother with her. And of course, they were like, "Oh, what is he doing here?" Like they didn't want him, and he's getting like sick and dizzy the whole time because it's not his atmosphere. But she's totally fine. Anyway, by the end of it, she runs away. She's freaked out. She doesn't know what's going on, and their ship is taking off. And then she gets contacted one last time, her and the brother on the TV, and it's the woman, and she tells her everything. Oh, you weren't dreaming. We left you here, 10 years ago, and we won't be able to come back for another 10 years now. And then the brother's like, "Oh my God, can you believe that?" And he looks back, and she had ripped off all her skin, and she was one of those aliens. Because you remember they were like the faceless aliens. And there's that like scene where she's like getting lifted into the ship, and you look up, and it's just like you see the aliens like doing this with their hands, like, "Ooh." To me, that was creepy, man. You remember that image?
I don't remember this episode. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
Fantastic. And the story itself was just really good. It's a cool story. A story about, you could imagine that being a feature film, right? Somebody's getting contacted from another life, and the twist being, hey, they just want their kid back. It's pretty cool. Anyway, and it has one of the best cliffhanger gotchas, like at the end. Like he just looks, and she's like one of those fucking aliens. It's like, it's pretty creepy. Because what happened is she had gotten enough of her atmosphere on the floor she was at, that she was able to shed her skin. It's a cool one. I really, really, really dig it.
I will watch that one. I was meaning to watch it because I was the image they have here is I don't know if he's the elevator door guy or what, but
The long
they have
hair.
yeah.
He's
Who's
the
that
one that
guy?
kind of lures. Yeah, he's the one that kind of lures her into there, like it's the business. Um, yeah. So it's a great, great
Okay.
episode. I just spoiled it for you too. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right,
All right.
man.
What's your next one?
Next one would be, let's see here. One of my favorites. This as a kid it was. It's fine now, but Tale of Old Man Corcoran. Do you remember that one?
Who is that?
So basically, these two kids move into this neighborhood. There's these four other kids that come up on a bike, want to see if they want to hang out, get to know each other, and then they want to play like Ghost in the Graveyard type of
Oh
hide and seek
yeah.
in the graveyard.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I
And
remember
then
that. And all the kids were
yeah,
dead. It's just like
yep,
that Stephen King book, right? Where all the kids are dead. And
yeah, and basically the kids were giving him like some like Old Man Corcoran was like the legend, the tale. You didn't know that these kids were dead prior to this, but basically he was the guy who just dug the graves up, and he was the cemetery caretaker. So yeah, he creeped me out as a kid. The ghost kids at the end, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're ghosts.
because Old Man
It's like,
Corcoran wasn't like a ghost. He was alive. He was just
yeah, but he looked like him, and he looks like death. But yeah, he's the
Yeah, and you know what?
caretaker.
I'm having Mandela effect because I remember this episode well, and I remember thinking Old Man Corcoran looked like Joey Gladstone. I swear when I was a kid, I thought he was guest starring. Like
He
he had
does
old
kind of
man,
look like Gladstone.
but he's old. I thought he had
Yeah,
makeup on. I I used to always mix up this episode, like my brain, like when I think of Old Man Corcoran and I think of that episode, I blend it with the same guy of the Tale of the Hungry Hounds,
yeah.
because you had another old guy, and he was like, "You should have fed the hounds," and he's like, "You should have fed them while they were alive." Anyway, I'm getting them mixed up, but there's a lot of creepy old people in this series, tons actually. But that's a great episode, and actually, it's one I could, if I would have thought better about it, I might have been on my list. That's a fantastic, because yeah, Ghost in the Graveyard used to creep me out. We used to play games like
Mhm.
that too, not at graveyards, but we'd play it outside in the dark, and it is pretty creepy. And I always wanted to play in a graveyard. And what happens at the end? She ends up coming up on their graves with the
Yeah,
names on
yeah.
them,
So
right?
they fall over the graves, and it's like Old Man Corcoran pops up. He's like, he said he buried the kids there. He's like, yeah, they've been dead for 20 years or whatever it is.
And that's a
But
classic campfire tale trope, right?
mhm.
Because it's a lot like, it kind of reminds me of Sometimes They Come Back, right? Stephen King, right?
Yeah,
The kids,
mhm.
in a
Which I
way, it's
love that
different.
movie. I really, really like that movie.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a good one. So my next one is all right. The Tale, and this, by the way, this is one that I think had great acting. The Tale of the Lonely Ghost. You remember this?
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, and this is a classic one. The one with the girl in the mirror, and it was like the nanny or whatever, and it was her daughter. She had died, and she just wanted to be reunited with her mother. And at the end, she ends up for some reason she's able to go into the mirror and just live with her daughter. That's
Mm.
kind of weird to me, but just the idea of mirrors, dude, they're so scary. And if you were in an old ass house like that, mirrors used to creep me out. They almost look like, and when you watch something like this as a kid, I'm like, oh man, maybe the mirror is like a portal to the other side, you know.
That
But
that one, that's one of the ones I was looking for to watch, but I didn't know the name of it.
and that one's very, very, very campfire, right? So the girl is screaming because the girl is actually approaching her, and she just wants to give her, like, was it the jewelry, the necklace, or whatever, or something like
Yes,
that?
yes.
Whatever. She couldn't talk, and I think her story was before she died. And I actually forget how she died, but she was mute. Like the girl in real life, in her lifetime, she couldn't talk or anything like that. She was probably deaf, and she was just trying to communicate with her. She wanted to let her mom know that she was still there, and just trying to communicate her with, I think, the locket or whatever. And she ends up getting the message to the maid or whatever, and she's like, "Where'd you get this?" and blah blah blah, and it all comes to a head, and it's just a good story, man. It's not
That
it's not terribly scary, but it's just a good
that's the one
story.
I was trying to watch because I
Yeah.
really loved that growing up. But now that you told me the name, I'm going
If you
back to
can't
watch
see,
that
I'm
one.
bad about remembering all the episode names. I had to Google them. I was just Googling stuff like, and this is what you can do. Like if you wanted to watch that, just Google fucking Are You Afraid of the Dark Mirror Girl. And
Well,
just stuff like that.
I did that, and I ended up watching another one, a Mirror episode that um, I wouldn't call it good, but I watched it. It was the Tale of the Mystical Mirror, season 5.
Oh yeah. See, I didn't watch anything past season 3, man.
Really?
Mm-mm.
There's
Never.
there's a few solid ones on season 5.
Nope. I didn't watch anything.
Tale
But
of the
anyway,
Mystical Mirror was basically some lady tricks her with a mirror. You look in the mirror, you get kind of like suffocated in the mirror. You become um I don't know. She worked at some sort of beautician shop, and she like lured kids
eh,
into working with her. What?
by the way, I have to correct myself. One of the episodes on my list is actually season 4, so I guess I did watch past season 3. But I guess I
I
don't. Go ahead.
No, I didn't know what season I went up to, but I've seen a lot of these season 5 episodes, so maybe I
Yeah,
must
so
have.
maybe I'm like fucked in the head, whatever. Fucked up in the head, not. Okay, go ahead. Anyway, so did you actually say your next one?
Oh, I was just talking about the Mirror one that I
Yeah.
watched it, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. I mean, it was
What's your
fine,
what's the next
but
one on your list?
it would be, let's see. Now this one is dumb, but I remembered it quite a bit, and it is the Tale of the Unexpected.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Fill me in.
Tale of the Unexpected Visitor. So this is like where two kids are like trying to like have a band or whatever, and write music. Um, one is kind of a dorky kid that like likes classical type, and the other kid's like a metalhead, classic rock guy. And their dad works for some sort of government aid project or whatever, where he communicates through different planets with a um, satellite dish. So they go in there, and then they come up with a little tune and send this off to deep space. This little tune,
Mhm.
and then aliens end up coming back and capturing some of them.
Yeah, that's a good one because that has the two buddies in it. And the main kid is the kid from Father's Day, Billy Crystal's or Robin Williams' son, and his
Mm.
friend, he's like, "Why can't I stay and play T-ball?" Right? The kid with the
Yeah,
long hair, his buddy.
yeah, but I mean, this episode is dumb because it's like they have like spider webs that capture the aliens use spider webs to capture these people, and they bring them into not a ship, but it looks like an elevator. And at the end of the episode, it's the main reason the aliens came back was the aliens talked in the end was because they played a musical number that said in their language, come here and play with toys. And one of the aliens was a child.
What
So
was it called
stupid,
again?
dude.
What's it called again?
So dumb.
What's it
Tale of the
called?
Unexpected Visitor.
The Unexpected Visitor.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta look this shit up because I know it's what I'm thinking of, right?
The ending is so dumb. Oh my gosh.
Of the Unexpected Visitor. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, his little fucking Hesher friend with the long hair. I want to play T-ball, and that's the kid from Father's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to really like this, and I gotta watch it. Dude, this kid, his friend, he looks like the fucking bastard.
Buddy's
son of
forever,
Ugg.
dude.
Ugg.
Yeah, he is
Ugg.
ugly, dude. Yeah.
No, he does. Buddy's forever. It is very much like that kind of vibe. I have to rewatch that one. What season is that again?
Season 5, episode 13.
Yeah, this is Human Play. The one with the girl in the dollhouse, though, that is on my honorable mentions. I had to remove it from my list because it got bumps. But the dollhouse, very creepy. The porcelain doll girl, very cool. And the
I don't know
were
why.
turning old.
Oh yeah, I do remember.
No,
that.
no,
I'll
no,
have to
no.
rewatch
That's different.
that.
The parents turning old is with the caretaker who was turning into a young boy, and he was stealing the family that moved in's youth, right?
Yes.
And all of a sudden,
Which
he
one
was like
was
a young
that?
boy. I don't
Is
remember.
that the dollhouse?
No, that's not. The dollhouse is different. That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't remember what they're fucking called.
I know they're all one giant episode to me.
The Tale of something. But there's so many great episodes, and yeah, you're talking about the Tale of Quicksilver. That was creepy too. That was like some voodoo shit, man. That ghost they would summon, and that had Tia and Tamara Mowry and stuff like that. And then one of the sisters was getting really sick. That's some dark shit, man. That's like some dark fucking demon or whatever making you nauseous, and I don't know. It's like possession vibes. I just remember the Tale of Quicksilver. He looked like Dalsim from Street Fighter 2, like this skinny Indian guy. But no, that's a good one. I put it on my list to revisit that. And
it's not great, but yeah,
I still want to watch it though.
Yeah. No, watch them all. They're all 20 minutes.
Yeah, I remember I watched all these one time before Google bought YouTube. Remember Google Video?
Oh yeah.
You could just, it was kind of like they were all on Google Video at a point. And my number two is the Tale. This is season 4 of the Ghastly Grinner. How could you not love the fucking Ghastly Grinner?
Yeah.
Dude, aesthetic alone, it was awesome. And this one was just so cool because just the whole backdrop of the art nerd kid and the comic books, and because I love to draw, that was my thing when I was like in elementary school, and the comic books coming to life and stuff like that. And I just love that Ghastly Grinner, dude. He is so fucking creepy. And I don't know what else to say about it, right? Do you remember it really well?
I don't remember it well. I know I've seen it, but I'll have to go back and watch that one.
Like the Ghastly Grinner would take his victims, right? Like maybe one of the parents, and he would just like laugh in their face, and the fucking like parents would just start laughing too, and they're like oozing at the mouth like black shit. It was almost like Joker products, right? It was very much. And then I remember at one point he gets like the little girl with the pigtails, and he picks her up, and he's like laughing at her face. And she has like no sense of humor. She's very stick in the ass type of thing. And she's like, it doesn't work on her. And she's like, what's the matter, kid? You don't like to laugh? And she has some kind of like comeback or whatever. But he's so creepy, man. And I can imagine the Ghastly Grinner being absolute nightmare fuel. But there is definitely some Joker inspiration there because we're talking about a comic book, and he's like a jester, purple and yellow. And he even kind of has like a Jack Nicholson Joker kind of aesthetic.
He does. Yeah.
You know, but dude, great. This in Human Play, the one with the purple skeleton in the pool, is that the one with Goth? When those fucking cult kids are trying to raise this fucking deity from like the dead, and they do it in the pool. And I love it, dude, because they keep
Which one was
talking
that?
about Goth.
Was this the
Goth.
same episode?
No, it's they're talking about the comments, and I love it
Oh,
because there's these kids that are trying to resurrect Goth. It's like Evo Shandor and fucking Gozer. It's like some shit like that, and they're gonna resurrect him in the high school pool in the gym. And I remember there's all this talk about Goth and shit like that, and they're summoning him, and you see all the mist and smoke coming out of the pool, and then I don't know what she does to thwart them, but the main girl, she like dumps some kind of fucking chemical in the pool, and just as like they're chanting and bringing Goth up, all this buildup, you see Goth like getting raised out of the fog, and all of a sudden he just goes back in. Like he never actually comes to life though. If we're talking about the same episode, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, pretty funny. And so you have your number 2, right?
yeah. So my number 2 would be another one from season 5. I liked this as a kid. I mean, it's okay now, but it's Train Magic. Remember Train Magic?
Yeah, like I said, that season 5 I'm gonna be rusty on. Maybe it's called Tale of
Yes.
Train Magic.
No, it's Train.
Sounds
yeah,
like a porno.
the tail. Yeah. It's just called Train Magic.
It's
So
not called the
basically,
Tale of Train Magic.
no.
They ditched the tale of. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's the Tale of Train Magic, and it's season 4.
I'm looking on Paramount Plus. It just says Train Magic.
It says season 4, episode 13. Let me look at the picture, see if I remember this.
Just this kid. I mean, yeah, if you saw his face. The little kid.
I don't remember it.
Obsessed with trains. There's basically a ghost train that goes down the tracks every 30 years, that sort of thing, and they end up having to try to get their friend back from the train. It's just a very memorable one for me. I wouldn't consider it great or good. I mean, it's good, it's solid, but it's one that I do remember to this day. I mean,
Yeah, I never saw that one. So maybe I should go back and kind of watch season 4 and 5, because now that I remember that like Ghastly Grinner was on season 4 and shit like that, like, well, maybe I did see a couple. I just forgot about them, and I need to go back. So I've only got one more. We each only have one more, but I'll go ahead and talk about a couple that could have been on this list that are not on my
no,
list.
don't do that because it might be on my number 1.
Okay, fine, you fucker. But we'll have to talk about them after then.
We'll do honorable mentions afterwards.
All right, so my number 1. And by the way, if people have been listening to Revival for a long time, Behind the Mask for a long time, I've talked about this episode, at least in the old days. It is the tale of. Do you have a guess by chance, Todd?
Yes.
What's your guess?
It would be. No.
Let's see how well he knows me. I wouldn't say I've talked about this like a nauseum or anything, but I have brought it up.
Laughing in the Dark?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It is Tale of the Pinball Wizard.
Oh, that's a great one.
Love it.
Yes.
And I've talked about this a lot. I just, as a kid, first of all, it had all these things that I would have loved. Like, oh man, he gets trapped in a mall overnight. Like as a kid, how cool that would have been. You get to play with everything and then you're stuck in it. He finds out he's stuck in the pinball game, right? That's the twist, right? I just love the aesthetic of the water guns. I just wanted to be him running around in the fucking mall after hours and squirting all those fucking guys with the water. I don't know what it is about this episode, but I love the aesthetic of rescuing the princess and the witch and the king and all that stuff in a mall. It's so weird. And I would have loved to just like ravaged Babbage's or something like that in the middle of the nights and just played. I don't know why he was playing with Super Soakers. He should have been playing with video games. And I love the twist, right? Because he told them, "Oh, well, I go to lunch or whatever. Just watch the store." And I don't remember if he told him like, "Don't play this game." I don't remember what he says or whatever. And he does anyway. And I guess his punishment is, "Hey, fucker, you're gonna be stuck in the game." And when the twist is he saves the princess, who's the girl he likes in real life, right? He has a crush on. She comes into the store, but he saves her and she's the princess. He defeats everybody he's supposed to defeat, and he's going to win. He's going to leave. He's going to go home. But as he's going up the escalator, a giant pinball rolls and blocks him in. and that's when we find out that he's actually in the pinball game, and then
Yeah.
it cuts to the owner of the store laughing at him in the game, and he's just like doomed to play the game over and over again. It's a new game, and he just has to fucking just like purgatory. He's playing the game over and over and over again. I love it, dude, because it's awesome and scary at the same time.
If I were to remember this would probably be my number one as well because I loved that episode and I didn't even think about it until you actually said the name of it. So
It's great. Obviously, it's a Who reference, right? The song, but it's fantastic. It's a great episode. Because to me, that's like real nightmare fuel, man. I could, to me, that's scary, man. Being trapped, I could see myself dreaming about being in a mall overnight and how cool that would be, but like you can't escape. And then obviously malls, Dawn of the Dead, right? You like that? To me, there's like a cool kind of connection there. I always, Dawn of the Dead's fun to watch because don't you want to like be in a mall? Just want to live in a mall as a kid. That sounds awesome. I
no,
mean,
that'd be sweet.
especially the Dawn of the Dead mall where you have a brown derby too. You got liquor, you got everything you want. But that's my number one. So what's your number one?
So my number one. So we kind of went back. We talked about quite a few of the seasons. My list started off with season 1, which is a Tale of the Phantom Cab, which I really enjoyed that. And then this one would it would end the series with the Night Shift, Tale of the Night Shift. I really liked the demon vampires in this. I thought it was really cool. When I was a kid, scared the crap out of me. The fact that they turn everybody in the hospital into demonic vampires. Some of them they're just creepy looking.
I'm looking at pictures. What season was this?
This is the last episode, season 5, episode 17.
I don't even remember it. I'm looking at pictures and it looks pretty gnarly. I'm looking at the vampire, the green vampire, and it's got that chick from Snow Day in it, and she's also in Don't Mess with the Zohan. She was a total babe. This was on, but yeah, dude, that the vampire in this looks like the haunted mask, dude. Like he's wearing the haunted mask from Goosebumps.
Yeah, she was a chick from Snow Day, and like the vampire like hangs her over the top of a building. And it's pretty cool, man. It creeped me out when I was a kid, and I still enjoyed that one. So
I got to go back and watch it because, like I said, maybe it's possible I watched it in passing and I just don't remember it. But this definitely would have been when I was sort of like in and out. I wasn't watching it like crazy, and maybe I've seen it, but
it's not a great story, but it
looks cool. Like I said, the vampire looks like he's wearing the haunted mask, man. The haunted mask too. So we can talk about honorable mentions. You kind of said one earlier. I mean, Laughing in the Dark, right? That's a classic because it's like the second episode or something like that. Isn't it like episode 2? And that's an OG episode. And to me, that's like a greatest hits episode. It is great. I didn't want to be obvious and say that one, but it is really cool. I like the idea of the fun house. Fun houses are creepy. And I also like the idea of kids daring each other, right? Because that's like what kids used to do. Like go in that haunted house and bring something out of it to prove you went in there. Right. And he goes in there and takes Zebo's clown nose. I'm going to get his nose. And it's pretty cool, right? And it did a lot with very little because the whole episode he's being taunted and haunted by Zebo, but you never see him. Like you just see like the cigar smoke coming from his bedroom window. He calls and he answers the phone. Give it back. Give it back. It's kind of tropey, but it works. Yeah. So I love that episode. That's a good one. Another honorable mention. I'm kind of surprised Todd didn't mention this one. Easily could have been on the list. I just had to make some cuts, but I'm going to say The Tale of Midnight Madness, the movie theater episode. Right? The movie theater episode.
Oh, yeah.
Nosferatu, basically.
Yeah.
That's great. And that one actually,
that was great.
At the time was very weird because I noticed it. This is how unusual it was for the day that I even took notice of it as a kid. It had an interracial love interest, right? You had the boy who was a black kid and you had a girl who we had a crush on, and they both worked at the movie theater. And this is a Dr. Vink episode 2, right? Dr. Vink, he comes in because they're not getting any business at the theater. And he's like, well, let me show my movies like he does. And the movies come to life or whatever. And it's the Nosferatu vampire comes through the fucking projector and through the screen. Really cool. And at the end, like I think she even like gives him a kiss, and I'm like, wow, like you didn't see a black guy and a white girl like on TV on screen like that. It was pretty memorable because it just doesn't happen. But it's a fantastic episode, and I love the owner where he got bit in the neck. Right, he's in the office, and the fucking Nosferatu, he had like the little buck teeth or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that one's pretty creepy, man. Nosferatu.
And he had to basically be Harker. He had to go in the movie himself. Remember the black and white, and he had to like finish the movie and drag his coffin into the sunlight. Super creative, super inventive. Really, 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 really good one.
I'm gonna go back and watch all of these, man.
And that's another one that's just a fantastic story. Can you imagine? I can imagine that being a movie. A lot of these you could turn into rated R movies, like horror movies. The idea of a guy that fucking has some enchanted movies, and the movies come out of the screen. It's kind of like Last Action Hero, but horror. Kind of, here are a couple of acres. Anyway,
which one was the Tale of the Prom Queen? Have you seen that one?
I'm pretty sure is the Tale of the Prom Queen the one that I was talking about, the M. Night Shyamalan. Let me see.
Is that the one?
Let me just see. Because his girlfriend died. Oh no, that's season 112. That's not the same one. But yeah, it's the girl who also doesn't realize she's dead. It's actually just like the other episode where there's somebody that doesn't realize she's dead. I think she realizes she's dead. She's like a new girl in town. She befriends this guy, and or there's two guys, and she's basically just using him to do her unfinished business, right? And eventually she meets her prom date because she had died, and you see like the old 50s car pull up playing the oldies, Richie Valens.
I remember
music.
like that. Yeah,
that's a good. That one's the first season had a lot of very classic-y campfire stories like that, right?
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know why I'm throwing cum, but that's the Tale of the Midnight Society. I call this story in your face.
What about the
Tucker?
Tale of the Shiny Red Bicycle.
The Pee-wee's Big Adventure. What?
Tale of the Shiny Red Bicycle.
Let me see. Hold on.
Is that the I'm Cold episode? Is that the one?
Is that the I'm Cold?
Let me check.
Oh yeah, that's the I'm Cold. And I'll tell you what, that one's memorable because it's very quotable. It's probably the number one quote I've ever said. Yeah. I'm cold.
Yeah.
I'm cold. Todd and I have been saying that.
It's funny.
We've been saying that for 22 years, 23 years.
Yeah.
I'm cold. And it's really, and that, like I said, is that episode season 1?
No, that's season 3, I think.
Is that really?
Yeah, season 3, episode 5.
Yeah. Hold on. Is this the I'm Cold? Are we? No, this is not.
Is this?
I don't think so. Hold on. Are you afraid? I'm looking at pictures of
no, because wasn't it a red jacket, the I'm Cold episode?
Well, no, every picture of the kid with the bike has a jacket. He's not even cold. The fucking ghost in ours didn't have a jacket. That's how he solved it, right? Because he was cold. And they it's the Tale of the Frozen Ghost. That's the one.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah.
Because I remember the kid, I saw the picture of the kid with the bike. He talked like a normal kid. Hey, John, like, hey, come out. But yeah, like as soon as I saw that fucking idiot with a jacket, I'm like, this ain't the cold ghost, man. He's warm. He looks pretty taken care of. And the Tale of the Frozen Ghost, I'm cold. All he wanted was a jacket. So funny.
Hey, give me like 1 minute.
Okay. I've given you an hour. Come on.
Get down the counter over there.
Are you gonna take a shit? Is that what that means? Didn't I'm Cold have Clarissa or no? Am I on crack?
I don't think so. Was she the main girl? She might have been the main girl.
Let me see. Tale of the Frozen Ghost. Yeah, Melissa Joan Hart was the special guest star. Yeah, and I wouldn't say Tale of the Frozen Ghost is like a fantastic episode or anything. It's just super memorable because of that fucking kid, the I'm Cold. It's amazing. And
he's a creepy kid, man.
I say it, yeah, kids are creepy. I say that out of context all the time. Like, I don't care if people even know the reference. I'll be in bed and then like I'll get the covers taken from me and I'm like, I'm cool. And I'll like take them. She's never fucking seen that stuff, dude. But I say it all the time, and people must. I pretend like everybody knows all the references I'm doing. I'm oblivious that most people don't, and everybody must look at me like I'm really, really weird because I'm pretty sure I've done that in grocery stores, walking through the frozen food aisle. I'm cold. I've done it when I'm by myself. It just comes out like I'm cold, walking past the fish sticks. Anyway, do you have any other? Let's see, the tale of horrible gum job.
Oh,
Is there such a
jeez.
thing as a horrible gum job? Those are just
Oh,
gums. Is that what we're talking? Anyway,
no, the other one, I don't know if I saw this one. Tale of Dead Man's Float.
that one's very, very familiar. Let me
It looks pretty cool, the creature I see on it. I'm trying to think if I saw this or not.
It's season 5, man. Let me see if I've seen that. Oh, you know what? I think this is the one that you were talking about, this in Human Place, about the skeleton in the water. This is what he was talking about. Yeah, I'm not real familiar with this one.
That and Super Specs. I know I've seen Super Specs before because isn't it like They Live?
This
Which
is the
puts like the
one.
glasses on.
This is the one with what's his name? Jay Baruchel. I know when he was a kid. Anyway, the tale of what? Super
Tale
Specs?
of Super Specs.
Let's see. God, you were all season 1, episode 6. Here we go. Oh God, this is some fucking They Live shit.
Yeah, I do remember this.
Dude, I don't remember this one super well. I mean, I kind of do, but you know what? I don't think this one's included on my volume sets because I have not seen this in a long time. But I remember that that medium they visit. He was in a couple episodes, right? That weird John
Yeah.
Lovitz looking dude.
Yeah, he's a returning character.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And how many Vink episodes were there? There was the one with
Like
Ned
2 or
Campbell.
3. Yeah.
Nev Campbell, that was when they had the soup, like the soup or whatever. And which, by the way, you know, another great episode, The Tale of the Nightly Neighbors, which is basically,
Yes.
I mean, that's basically like what's it called? Fright Night,
Yep.
where the new family moves in and they're vampires.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of stuff that was but that was really, really cool too. But yeah, awesome. Well, anyway, that's our list. We probably missed a whole bunch. I know I want to go back and rewatch some.
Yeah, I've missed a lot. I know I have. I'm just
But
trying
the
to
ones I
think.
mentioned, I'm always gonna know like the back of my hand, man. Especially the Tale of the Pinball Wizard. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I might actually watch it. I love just the video game music in the episode, like the video gamey, like chiptune, the way everything about it just connected with me as a kid.
I'm watching that one tonight.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. All right, so that's all we got. Feel free, guys. This came as a recommendation. I'm not sure who recommended it, but if you guys want to keep throwing out recommendations, we'll keep talking about whatever you guys want. So you can either do that here, we're about to hop off, or you can do it in our free Discord. You can join that, or you can comment on the video if you're watching this next week when it goes up for everybody. But does anybody else have any last things they want to shout out before we wrap it up?
I don't.
Okay, I wasn't talking to you. No, that's
I'm
good.
just kidding.
We'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good one.
See you
Adios.
guys.